Hello everyone and welcome back to another Figurehead Reviews video, and today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends Red Guardian from the Crimson Dynamo Build-A-Figure wave. Here we have Red Guardian displayed in the front window with his Build-A-Figure piece and shield, and then down at the bottom we do see the Black Widow movie logo and of course his name, Red Guardian. On the side we do have some artwork there of Red Guardian staring off at the side, and for whatever reason Hasbro depicted this artwork with his helmet on, which we don't have in the actual figure itself, which is an odd choice. And that is going to be the same artwork on both sides. On the back we see that artwork expanded upon, and again that helmet on the head is just weird that is advertised in the artwork but not on the figure itself. And then we do have a quick read-up. Alexei Shostakov is a super soldier and spy who has lived a lifetime of triumph during the Cold War. Then we do have all the other figures needed in this wave to complete the Crimson Dynamo Build-A-Figure. Then we do have the UPC code, so you can check with your local retailer to see if they have this in stock. But enough about that, let's get this open and take a look at Red Guardian. And here is Red Guardian outside of his packaging, and from the trailers we know that Red Guardian is a bit of a sort of washed up hero of the Soviet era, at one point in the trailer exclaiming that it still fits when he's getting it back into his suit. So we get the idea that he hasn't been a hero in some time, and he certainly looks like an older and more haggard, I guess, character that you could say, versus somebody in his prime. Now, in the comic books, Red Guardian and Black Widow were married at one point, and I get the sense that that's not going to be the case for the movie. In fact, it seems like there's some articles out there that suggest that maybe Red Guardian was married to Rachel Weisz's character in the movie, Melina, which, by the way, I've had a crush on Rachel Weisz for 20 years now, ever since The Mummy. Sidetrack. But anyway, the figure does do a pretty decent job of looking like it is a bigger guy, kind of scrunched into a suit. Now, Red Guardian does come with one accessory, which is his shield, which actually I'm happy to get something that is different than just a repainted Captain America shield. We get a unique sculpt and unique paint on this, so it looks really good. On the back side, it is going to use, though, that clamp style hinge joint to clamp onto an arm, or you can flip it around and it has that peg so that you can either have him holding onto it, and he also has a port in his back so that you could put that peg into the back and then he can have his shield on there. One thing I will give you a warning about, the first time I put the shield on his back, it got stuck, and I actually had to use tools in order to get it out without breaking it. So I'm not going to put the shield back in I'm not going to plug it in because I don't want to break it. So be careful doing that yourself. Maybe heat up that port and use a tool to loosen it up, or try to make it a little bit wider, just so that way that peg will fit in a little bit easier and not get wedged in like it did with mine where it might break. Now, in standing straight up, this figure is coming in at 6¼ inches tall, which makes him 15.9 centimeters, so he is a good height for your average male characters. But since he does not come with any other accessories other than his Build-A-Figure piece, which we'll look at later, let's go ahead and jump in and look at the sculpt and paint here on Red Guardian. And getting up close here to the head sculpt, if you didn't tell me that this is David Harbour, I probably wouldn't be able to guess who this likeness is. And I think that has a lot to do with the beard. For some reason, beards just don't work well in action figure form, or at least in MCU versions. The Infinity War Chris Evans did not look great, so, it's not a bad looking head sculpt just in general, but I just don't know how much it looks like David Harbour. I guess it does, but paint looks like it's pretty decent. Got some blue eyes there. Everything came out good. Interestingly enough, we don't get the style hair sculpt where it's the separate piece. It's all sculpted on the figure. We get a little bit of gray there on the side. Do we get any gray here in the beard? Yeah, a little bit of gray there in the beard. I almost feel like the gray in the beard should be more pronounced, but like I said, it's not a bad head sculpt. I wonder why we got the unmasked version. I'm very surprised that, considering we didn't get a Jude Law head sculpt for Jan Rog, I would have thought that it would have been cheaper to not bother getting the licensing for David Harbour and just make the helmet version and call it good. But whatever. It's yeah, I guess maybe this is how he'll appear in the movie more. Now, looking at the rest of the suit, we can see some texture throughout, which looks really good. You certainly get a feel that this was modeled to be, a Captain America inspired. But of course, being the Soviets, they wanted to make it their own, and it's not too bad. And you can see a lot of the scuffs from when I had to use that tool to get the pour out, and you can even see maybe it was just the paint. So maybe try to scrape off some of the paint on the inside there. Maybe that's why it was such a tight fit. But the sculpt does look decent, and the line work around it, not bad. Looks like right in the middle of the star, get a little pitting, and some of the paint missed, but all in all, I guess it's not the worst paint that we've seen. Certainly from a distance, it looks better. We do get a open gesture hand, and something I didn't really mention is it's a bit loose to have him grab onto the shield to that peg. So maybe heat this up and try to close that a little bit more, and you might be able to get a tighter grip on there. And then we do get a fisted hand on the other side, which I kind of wish we just had two fisted hands, because I don't think you really need the peg for the gripping piece. Looking at his belt, we do get some paint there at the buckle, but not much else. So we get some pouches and then just a belt design. So, that one, I don't know how much paint that needed. And then going down the rest of the suit, so again, just more texturing there. We get just different seams and straps and things like that. And then down to his boots, which look pretty good. So, all in all, the sculpt work is not bad, and I would even say that they did a good job of kind of making it look like it's a bigger guy in the suit, without making it a fat character. So I actually like that. I don't know how big David Harbour actually is in the movie, but yeah, I think that actually translated pretty well to plastic. Now, looking at the articulation, so of course you have a head that can go all the way around. Looks like that's about it for down. Does he not have a disc either? Yeah, I wonder what that is with this wave. So many of these don't have the disc hinge for the neck piece there. They just have the dumbbell style. So looking up, not too bad. And you get a little bit of like side to side there because of that dumbbell. So that's interesting though. Arms come up pretty decent, full rotation. You have a bicep swivel, there we go. Double jointed elbow, however, doesn't quite go very deep, just about 90 degrees. You do have a rotation, and on this hand, you do get that ulnar and radial type of hinge that I always say I want in a gun holding hand, except he doesn't come with a gun. So interesting choice to give us that on this hand. But then on the regular fisted hand, we do have your standard flexion and extension type of hinge. For the waist, or rather the ab crunch, pretty deep there. Goes back pretty far. Looks like the sculpt runs through, but it does get a little bulbous there, so not too bad. You can rotate there at the waist. Belt will kind of move out of position, but not a big deal. Legs can come apart that far, kick forward that far, backwards not much, upper thigh cut, but you do have the strap, so it kind of carries it with it and breaks up that sculpt. And then you do have, not a terrible double jointed knee. He does have a boot cut. Then he has a hinge and ankle pivot. And that is going to do it for this review, everyone. So overall, I guess it's not a bad figure. It's well done. The paint's not the worst in the world. The articulation isn't really terribly limiting, as far as Marvel Legends go anyway. It still baffles me with the choice of not giving us the helmeted version. And it almost makes me wonder, with so many complaints about the Jude Law, Jan Rog not getting the unmasked version, maybe they said, okay, everybody obviously wants an unmasked version of some of these actors, so let's give them an unmasked Red Guardian, and they give it to us, and then we all say, boy, it would have been really nice if we would have got a masked version. So Hasbro might just be throwing up their arms and saying, well, we don't know what you guys want, so who knows. But certainly, if you're an MCU collector, as usual, I'm sure you're going to get this figure, and if you're not going to get this figure, and it might be as cut and dry as that. But with that being said, like I said, it's an okay figure, and I think it's really just going to come down to whether or not you collect MCU or comics, and that's really going to be about it. If you like this review, make sure to hit that thumbs up, subscribe for more content just like this, and as always, thanks for watching my videos, and have a great day.